الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Alhamdulillah, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Continue our lessons in Muqaddimah Hadramiyyah, and we pray that Allah make this lesson a blessed one. May our prayers are answered, our sins are forgiven. May Allah bless us with safety in dunya and akhirah, and open for us doors of understanding and tawfiq to practice in His commandments and refrain from His prohibitions. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. So in our last lesson, we are speaking about chapter of Jum'ah, and the author mentioned a few conditions on the validity of Jum'ah, and likewise the two khutbah. So I believe we have covered everything last week. We have covered the conditions on the validity of Jum'ah, and also the conditions of the two khutbah. So today we will continue from there, where the author will speak about the sunnah. So after he mentioned about the obligations, now he is going to speak about some of the sunnahs. So can one of you read?
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Qala al-musannif rahimahullah ta'ala wa nafa'ana bihi wa bi ulumihi fid darain amin. Faslun tusannu ala minbarin fa in lam yatayassar fa ala murtafi'in wa an yusallima 'inda dukhulihi wa tulu'ihi wa idha aqbala 'alayhim wa an yajlisa halat al-adhan wa an yuqbila 'alayhim wa an takuna balighatan mafhumatan قصيرة وأن يعتمد على نحو عصا بيساره ويمناه بالمنبر ويبادر بالنزول.
So now the author mentioned a few things, and the first thing he said, tusannu ala minbarin. And minbar is the place anywhere during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is like a stage. And during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there are three steps. So the Prophet used to give any khutbah, and he used to lean behind any date palm. So there was a person came to the Prophet ﷺ, and his father was a carpenter. So he said, Ya Rasulullah, we wanted to make you a platform so that you can stand on it during any day, during any day Jum'ah. So this was the first instance where the Prophet ﷺ stood on a mimbar. So a mimbar is basically a platform that is raised up for people that need to speak. So it is a sunnah for the khatib to go up a platform like a mimbar. فَإِن لَمْ يَتَيَسَّرْ فَعَلَى مُرْتَفَعٍ. But if there is no mimbar, then it is sunnah for him to go to a place that is higher than the people who are sitting down. And the reason of course is obvious, that it is easy for the voice to be projected, and likewise people can see the khatib. One of the sunnahs also we mentioned, the jama'ah, it is a sunnah for the jama'ah to look at the khatib. While the khatib is giving the khutbah, it is a sunnah to look at the khatib. So that is why there is a wisdom behind it. It is sunnah for the khatib to be in a higher place. وَأَن يُسَلِّمَ عِنْدَ دُخُولِهِ. So it is a sunnah when the khatib enters the masjid, that he gives the salam. He gives the salam. So usually in the past, what they do is the khatib will come late to the masjid. The khatib will be from the house. So when he comes into the masjid, he comes at the time of adhan. So when he enters into the masjid, it is a sunnah for him to give the salam. Nowadays, usually khatib in the masajid, they will be waiting in the imam room. So it is a sunnah when they leave the room that they give the salam. But today in our country, this is a dead sunnah. Nobody practices this. No khatib go out of the room of the imam, or when comes from outside, that he gives salam to everyone. This rarely happen in here. But in places in Tarim, this is a common practice. You will find the khatib enters to a particular door. So the moment he enters, he will give salam, and the whole mosque will say wa alaykum salam. So exactly what the author mentioned here. Wa an yusallima inda dukhuli. So this point number one. عند دخول, when the khatib and he enters and into the masjid. وعند طلوع, this is also did sunnah here. Yani inda tulu, yani meaning before yani he goes up the mimbar. So what usually yani they will do yani is, before they go up the mimbar they will face the jama'ah. They will face the jama'ah. Yani before they climb the steps, they will face any the jama'ah and they will say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yani before climbing any the steps any of the mimbar. So this is number 2. And then وَإِذَا أَقْبَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ, this is any when he is on top any of the mimbar, on top any of the mimbar. So usually in our country we only do the third one. We do not do any the first one. We do not do the second one. But the moment any you do, any people will find it any a strange person. What is this person any doing? He gives any so many salam. When entering the masjid he gives a salam. Before any going up the mimbar, another salam. After the another salam. Nowadays, and if you do this, people might be confused because any this is not a norm. But this is only the sunnah. So altogether how many salam? 3 salam. وَأَنْ يَجْلِسَ حَالَةَ الْأَذَانِ. Now this is normal. Yani when the khatib and he goes up the mimbar, he gives the salam. It is sunnah for him to sit down. حَالَةَ الْأَذَانِ. When the muazzin and he gives the adhan. When the muazzin and he gives the adhan, it is a sunnah for him to sit down. وَأَنْ يُقْبِلَ عَلَيْهِمْ, that he face the jama'ah. وأن تكون الخطبة بليغة مفهومة قصيرة. So now the author speaks about the sunnahs in the khutbah. Number 1, and he has to be baligha. Baligha yani can mean it is a khutbah yani that is that reaches the people. Yani it must be a khutbah yani that is clear. It must be a khutbah yani that is clear in terms of the voice and it can be heard. Another meaning in baligha yani it must be proper yani in its language. To use any good any language yani in khutbah. And all this and it will give any impact any on the people any who are listening. So this is any point number 1. It has to be baligh. Has to be baligh. Number 2, mafhumatan. It has any to be understood. If a person and he speaks in a khutbah and people and having difficulty and to understand what is any the message and that he is trying to say, this and he defeat any the purpose of khutbah. And then and he has to be qasira, that he has any to be short and sweet, not any too long that people any we find it any too lengthy, and not any too short any in a sense that people only touch any the rukun of the khutbah, but it has any to be not any too long and not any too short. So it is a brief sermon. This is any the sunnah, because if you look at the sermon of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can understand how short is the khutbah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And maybe nowadays in Microsoft Word, and maybe 2 pages. Maybe anyway, if you fill up, and it becomes any 2 pages. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is reported when he gives any khutbah, ka'annahu mundiru jaysh. Yani he is like a general of an army. So if an army general and he is giving any orders any to the soldiers, so it is a serious tone, a serious and high and intense. This is where we find the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, yani they will listen attentively to the khutbah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But today, mashallah, if a person gives any khutbah and he is speaking to his friend, this is not the sunnah. Wa an ya'tamida ala nahwi asan. It is a sunnah that a person lean on something. Asan is a stick, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lean with a stick and doing any khutbah. So he hold the stick and bi yasarihi wa yumnahu bil minbar. So this is how the standing position is. So the stick should be on the left hand. This is a sunnah. So the right hand touches the minbar. So left hand touches the stick. The right hand touches the minbar. It is not any sunnah that the khatib does not touch anything. And it is makruh for the khatib while giving khutbah pointing any fingers, pointing to the front, pointing here, pointing there. This is not right. So the sunnah is the wisdom behind holding the stick and holding the minbar, so that the hands does not move. So that while giving the khutbah, the hand does not move left and right. وَيُبَادِرْ بِالنُّزُولِ. The author, and he mentioned that the khatib, and he has to hasten up, and while when he has completed the khutbah, you need to come down. Because why? Because last week, and we spoke about the condition on the validity of Jum'ah. There must be mu'ala between the first khutbah and the second khutbah, and mu'ala between khutbah and prayers. Mu'ala any between khutbah and prayers. And it is also a sunnah for the muaddin not to lengthen the iqamah. Not to lengthen the iqamah. Iqamah also has to be brief. So it is a sunnah that the khatib and he hasten down, and then straight away and he do the takbir. Straight away do the takbir. Because why? We do not want to fall into when it is too late, then we do not have the mu'ala, the consistency between the khutbah and the takbir. Some fault that usually happen in our mosques. The imam take a lot of time telling the jama'ah, ya jama'ah, please sit in your saf. Make sure those at the back come, and then he wait some more. And then he look at the jama'ah one more time, say, okay, you come here, you, okay, go behind. Then he spend his time telling the jama'ah all this thing to scatter up. All this is not any necessary. Not necessary. So usually what we do is that before the khutbah, in our mosque, before the khutbah, what we do is we tell a jama'ah to stand up. Everybody fill up the space before khutbah. Make sure everybody comes into the front. Fill up the gap so that the people who are late can have space at the back. All this is to cut our time so that we don't waste time doing the takbir. Before the takbir, then we want to do all these things. It is not appropriate that we lengthen. But it is okay to say just maybe a few seconds. Jama'ah sawu sufufakum. Make sure those at the back comes into the front. Just a few moments, then Allahu Akbar. That there is no harm. Because if the khatib is late more than 2 rak'ah, the what you call it, the qadr of 2 rak'ah, then he has to do the khutbah again. He has to do the khutbah again. So the scholars of the past, they are very, very strict in all these things. And they will scold the khatib. They will scold the khatib, and if the khatib wastes too much time. But places in interim, and you find the khatib and he will run down the stairs. Understand? In Jami' Tarim, their practice is after he completes the khutbah, the muaddin, and he will straight away Allah Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul. Then you find the khatib, mashallah, it's like running, if not running, like jogging, like he goes down very fast. He goes down and straight away they do the takbir. So some places they really take care of all these things, because otherwise you become the reason people's Jummah are not valid. Now continue. ويكره
التفاته والإشارة بيده ودق درج المنبر.
Now all these things are makruh. He say makruh for the khatib is do iltifat. While he is giving khutbah, he look at the right, look at the left, look on top. Makruh. So where does the khatib look? The khatib maintain and look into the front. And when he is giving a khutbah, he looks into the front. Do not do iltifat, just like in prayers, and not to do ishara with his hand. Ishara, any point here and point there. That is why the hand must be maintained. Hand one hand at the stick, the other hand at the mimbar. Although this might be difficult for some people. It also requires any practice, because some people natural. Sometimes when you give khutbah you do not know you do such things, but because sometimes we are used to it. So all these things we try to avoid. وَدَقُهُ دَرَجَ الْمِنْبَرِ to use the stick and to hit the mimbar and making any noises. All these things are makruh. Now continue.
ويقرأ في الركعة الأولى الجمعة وفي الثانية المنافقين أو في الأولى سبح الأعلى وفي الثانية الغاشية جهرا.
So these are the 4 surahs that the Prophet ﷺ when he recite. The Prophet ﷺ when he does not recite any other than these 4 surahs. So ulama mentioned this is ittiba of the Prophet ﷺ. So either in the first rakah Jummah and Munafiqeen, this does not happen in our country in Singapore. The moment when you read this and people complain. But at least Al-A'la wal Ghashiyah. Al-A'la Al-A'la ini wal Ghashiyah. Now this normally we recite during any the khutbah. And in the sunnah I need to recite it jahran. Now continue.
فصل يسن الغسل بحاضرها ووقته من الفجر ويسن تأخيره إلى الرواح.
Now the author he mentioned the sunnah on the day of Jumu'ah. It is sunnah I need to bathe. How do we make any intention any of this bathing? We say nawaitu ghusla li huduri salatil Jumu'ah. This is how we make the intention. Do not any make any mistake. Nawaitul ghusla lil Jumu'ah. There is a difference. There is a difference between making the intention to bathe, to attend the Jumu'ah prayers, and making the intention to bathe for Friday, for Jumu'ah. The correct way is to make the intention of bathing to attend Jumu'ah prayers, not any for the day of Jumu'ah. Because the sunnah of bathing is only for those who are attending Jumu'ah. This is different than Eid. Eid, we make the intention of bathing for Eid, for the day of Eid. That is why sunnah for women, for children, everybody need to bathe. But for Jumu'ah, it is sunnah for those who are attending the Jumu'ah prayer. So that is why our intention must be nawaitul husla li huduri salatil Jumu'ah. I make the intention of bathing to attend the Jumu'ah prayers. So it is a sunnah for us to bathe on the day of Jumu'ah. So the author mentioned we can bathe in the morning because the timing starts after Fajr. But the best is before you leave your house to pray the Jumu'ah. This is the meaning, and he said, وَيُسَنُّ تَأْخِيرُهُ إِلَى الرَّوَاحِ. Rawah meaning at the time when you go out. So if you are going out, and for example at 12 o'clock, you are going out of your house, so you bathe before it. So you make the intention. Then we go out. Now it's sunnah for us to wear nice clothes, white clothes. All these things are coming. Likewise, wearing perfume to smell nice, to look nice. Aywa.
والتكبير لغير الإمام من طلوع الفجر ولبس البيض.
Not تكبير, تبكير.
استغفر الله. والتبكير لغير الإمام من طلوع الفجر ولبس البيض والتنظيف والتطيب والمشي بالسكينة والاشتغال بقراءة أو ذكر في طريقه وفي المسجد.
So these are the sunnahs. Number one, he mentioned والتبكير لغير الإمام. تبكير meaning to come early. To come early. So the word tabkir it comes from the word bukra. That it means in the early morning. In the early morning. So the earlier the better on Jumu'ah. The earlier the better. But li ghayr al-imam. Here imam here refers to the khatib also. The one who gives the khutbah. It is not a sunnah for the imam to come early to the masjid. So when does the imam comes? The imam comes during the adhan, the second adhan. So he enters the masjid as long when the adhan complete. That is the time when the imam enter into the masjid. That is the time when the imam enters before the adhan before the second adhan. Before the second adhan. But nowadays I don't think anybody practice this. Usually the khatib will be early at the mosque. But the Prophet ﷺ, of course his house is near the masjid, so he will pray the qabliyah. He will pray the qabliyah at his house. The Prophet ﷺ will pray the qabliyah at his house. And then the muaddin, what you call it, and then he goes out of his house and he goes up the mimbar and he gives the salam. Tamam? So he does the prayer at the masjid. So here also it is a sunnah for the imam to do the qabliyah at his house, and if the house is near to the masjid. And then he enters the masjid before the second adhan. Before the second adhan. So he enters the mosque and straight away go up the mimbar. So it's not the sunnah for him to come early. This is the sunnah. Walubsu thiyab. And then he mentioned watabikir min tulu'il fajr. And the time starts from fajr. The time when it starts from fajr and all the way until what you call it, the adhan. So the earlier a person comes the better the better it is. Walubsu thiyabil bir. It is a sunnah to wear white on Friday, especially on Fridays. And there are many hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ on the virtue of wearing white. There is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ mentioned ilbasul bayad, and he wear white clothes. فَإِنَّهُ أَتْقَى وَأَنْقَى أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. Because he wearing white and it is atqa and anqa. It is near to piety and it is clean. Meaning it reminds us about purity. When a person wears white this is tafa'ul. The Prophet ﷺ loves tafa'ul. Tafa'ul and is a good omen. Why tafa'ul? Because white clothes is a symbol of purity. That is why we have the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, Allahumma ghfir dhunubahu, Allahumma ghsilhu, Allahumma ghsir dhunubahu kama yughsalu thawbul abyadu min ad-danas. Oh Allah, wash away his sins just like dirt is washed away from white clothes. Just like what you call it, dirt and is washed away from white clothes. So white clothes is a symbol and your purity of sin. So we hope that wearing white, Allah will purify our internal self. This is the intention. Clear inshallah. So the Prophet ﷺ love wearing white. And it is also anqa. The reason why is anqa, because if you wear white, you will be more careful. When you are walking outside, if you wear white, you will be more careful. Because you know that if anything comes into you, it will stain. So you will take more. You will take any precaution. So it is anqa. Because of this, and it is anqa, meaning it is what you call it. It makes you to be more cleaner in a sense. So especially on Friday, it is sunnah for us to wear white. Then he mentioned what tandif, to cleanse our body, especially on Friday when we bathe. We take this opportunity to shampoo as well, to wash the whole part in our body, to clip our fingernails, and if you have not clipped our fingernails, for example. Meaning anything that is used to cleanse the body, from scrubbing, what you call it, clipping any of the fingernails, likewise washing the face, brushing the teeth, all these things in your sunnah. Anything that has got to do with cleansing, wearing any perfume, and all these things. This is a tanzif. What tatayyub? Tatayyub is to smell nice and to wear any perfume, tib. Wal mashu bis sakina. When we walk into the masjid and we walk with calmness, not in a haste. It is not sunnah to be in a haste, especially when walking to the masjid and walking in the masjid. And we have hadith on all of this. The Prophet ﷺ, he prohibited someone hasting, especially when he is in the masjid. And the Prophet mentioned alaykum bis sakina. You have to always observe tranquility and calmness. This is a sunnah. Al-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. The Prophet mentioned hastiness is from shaitan. Wal-anatu min ar-rahman. Calmness comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, then he mentioned wal-ishtiralu bi qira'atin. When we enter into the masjid, it is a sunnah that we busy ourselves with recitation of the Quran, and especially Surah Al-Kahf. Especially because we have hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the importance of Surah Al-Kahf. It becomes the means for protection till the week that comes, from the fitna of Dajjal. Especially in these difficult times, students of knowledge must regard this as wajib. Recitation of Surah Al-Kahf, we need to regard this as wajib. This is very, very important because we are living in very difficult times. So we have to equip ourselves with the important things that are highly emphasized by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And likewise on Friday, salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is a sunnah any to make any a lot of salawat. So at any time any that we are able to make salawat, whether we say jahran or sirran, the zikr any for the day always, for Jum'ah especially, is salawat any upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a narration, Khatib Shirbini, for example, in Murni Muhtaj mentioned any about salawatul ummi. There is a narration about salawatul ummi that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive 80 years any of sin by reciting 80 times any of the salawat. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin nabil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. So this is so many of the things any that what you call it, we can practice, and there are many types any of salawat that's written any by our ulama. Scholars in Morocco, they used to, they emphasize any on Dalailul Khairat, what you call it, to be recited, and also all these things are salawat. We also have salawat to touch, many types any of salawat nariya. So a person and he can recite. Our dhikr, yani to engage any in remembrance any of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Jum'ah yani is the best day, Sayyidul Ayyam. So our Prophet mentioned, the leader any of all this. So making any remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highly any emphasized fi tariqihi wa fil masjid, when he is any on his way out any of the house, and also when he has reached in the masjid. Wal insatu fi halil khutbati, to keep any quiet and to listen. Al insat meaning keeping quiet with concentration. This is the meaning of insat. Not only keeping quiet, but keeping quiet with concentration. Meaning when the khatib and is given khutbah, we pay attention any to the words any of the khatib, while any we are keeping any ourselves any quiet. And this is where Allah mentioned, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمُعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنْصِتُوا. We have any the word in the Quran, وَأَنْصِتُوا, yani meaning to listen any attentively. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. Perhaps any you will get the mercy of Allah. بِتَرْكِ الْكَلَامِ, by not any speaking any while the khatib any is giving any the khutbah, because this will reduce our rewards. And normally any we hear the hadith where the muaddin and he says, وَمَنْ لَغَى فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ وَمَنْ لَغَى فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ. Those any who engage any in speaking while the khatib any is giving any prayers, the Prophet said, فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ. What is the meaning any فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ? Literally any means any there is no Jum'ah any for him, meaning everything gone. But Imam Shafi any mentioned فَلَا جُمْعَةَ لَهُ, meaning the rewards any decrease. Although there are some scholars mentioned there are no rewards at all. Whenever any person any engage in speaking things any that are not appropriate while the khatib is giving khutbah, he will not any get rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all these things, what you call it, we have to restrain any ourselves. And we have also hadith any about hasa, those any who play any with stones, because last time during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the floor any of the masjid and is made of pebbles. So there are people, some Bedouins, and he came into the masjid while the khatib and he is given khutbah, they play any with the pebbles in front of them. So there is a hadith any to the nearest meaning. Those any who man la'ib al-hasa kama qala sallallahu alaihi wasallam fala jum'ata lah. Likewise in the Prophet and he mentioned fala jum'ata lah. Nowadays any people don't play pebbles any, but people play what do you think? Handphones. So people any play game while khatib any is giving khutbah. Some students, some young people any day, they still any play any games. Some people are addicted into games, and even in the masjid also any day play games. Now this is any a problem any for us any today. Even in doing class, students any play games. Like in the classes, and I saw many times the ustaz and is teaching, and then he can put any the phone any at the kitab like this. So the ustaz thought that he was reading his book, but I saw from behind he was playing game. Subhanallah, doing class. What more any can we say? So today we need to ban handphones. Correct. Handphones any should be banned from the masjid, especially from Jummah prayers. So he mentioned وبترك الكلام دون ذكر لغيره. Before that he said في حال الخطبة بترك الكلام وذكر لسامع. Number one, and he mentioned ترك الكلام, yani not speak. Number two, ترك الذكر, meaning when the khatib is given khutbah, للسامع, he hears any of the khutbah. He hears a khutbah. For people and who hears any of the khutbah, stop any zikr. For example, a person is making salawat upon the Prophet ﷺ. But now in the khatib is giving khutbah, which is more virtuous? Listening to the khutbah or zikr? So listening to the khutbah is more virtuous than in the zikr. When a person is reading the Quran, stop reading the Quran. When a person is engaging in zikrullah, stop any zikrullah. But listen any to the khatib. وَبِتَرْكِ الْكَلَامِ دُونَ ذِكْرِ لِغَيْرِهِ. But in a case any that a person does not listen, does not hear the khutbah, a person is far away from the khatib. Last time there is no microphone. So if you come late, if you pray in a jami', in a big mosque, so the high possibility you do not listen, you do not hear, because you are too far. So if you are far, then what you should do, rather than keeping quiet, you do zikr. That is why the author mentioned لِغَيْرِ sami, and the dhamir here goes back to as-sami', yani لِغَيْرِ sami', yani if a person does not hear the khutbah, then he engage in zikrullah. Now continue. وَيُكْرَهُ
الاحتباء فيها وسلام الداخل لكن تجب إجابته. ويستحب تشميت العاطس ويسن قراءة الكهف يومها وليلتها.
Now he mentioned وَيُكْرَهُ الْإِحْتِبَاء, yani ihtiba any meaning, you bring your feet up like this. This is ihtiba. It is makruh. Makruh to do ihtiba during khutbah. During any khutbah. Salamu dakhil, when you are late and do not say assalamu alaikum, everyone is listening to the khutbah, do not give salam. Even in class, when you are entering into a class, when people are having class, do not give salam, because these are not any places and it's sunnah for us to give salam, because all is an interruption. We are interrupting the people who are listening to the khutbah, and then ijabah is wajib now. So there must be people that answer you, say wa alaikumus salam, at least one person. This is kifaya. This is fard kifaya, meaning if one person answer, is enough already. But this is wajib. Yani if a person gives salam, it's wajib to give ijabah. وَيُسْتَحَبُّ تَشْمِيتُ الْعَاطِسِ. Yani if a person sneezes, sunnah for us to say yarhamkallah. This is tashmit, that we recite this dua. So these are exceptional cases. Yani if a khatib is giving a khutbah, a person sneezes, it is a sunnah for us to say yarhamkallah, even though this is speech. Now continue. Then he mentioned وَتُسَنُّ قِرَاءَةُ الْكَهْفِ, as what we mentioned, يَوْمَهَا وَلَيْلَتَهَا. This is for protection, protection from the fitna of the Dajjal, especially Suratul Kahfi. وَإِكْسَارُ الصَّلَاةِ عَلَى النَّبِي صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ فِيهِمَا. Yani hima goes back into Yawm and Layla, during the night and during the day. So now we are at the night of Jummah, correct? Not? Now sunnah for us to make salawat for the Prophet. Today, now we can recite Suratul Kahfi. I mean if a person, for example, wants to recite at night, he can recite at night. But of course, better any night and day. When comes to salawat, for example, tonight also it is sunnah for us to make salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In places like Tarim, usually they do Mawlid, because during Mawlid you make salawat, correct or not? Naturally, everybody makes any salawat, and it falls on Friday, so the virtues is more, especially when we are on Friday. So night and also day. Wa du'a fi yawmiha. It is a sunnah to make a lot of du'a in Jum'ah because of the hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned sa'atul istijaba. There is one particular moment on the day of Jum'ah that when your person makes du'a, Allah will answer the prayer. So our scholars differ when is sa'atul istijaba. Al-Imam Ghazali, for example, mentioned bain al-khutbatain, yani when the khatib sits down, that is sa'atul istijaba. Take the opportunity to do du'a. So we need to make any dua when the khatib sits down, and do not keep quiet. People who do not know this, They just keep quiet. Khatib says, Ya Fawz al-Mustaghfirin. Then he sits down. Everybody keeps quiet. This shows that people are not aware of this importance. So it is a sunnah for us to recite any dua at this particular time. And usually our scholars mention it is recommended that we recite Sayyidul Istighfar. Sayyidul Istighfar is dua. Allahumma anta rabbi la ilaha illa anta khalaqtani wa ana abduka ahdika wa wa'adika mastata'tu wa a'udhu bika min sharri ma sana'tu wa abu laka bi ni'matika alayya wa abu bi dhanbi faghfir li. One of the best form of dua is istighfar. In Singapore also, the muaddin will say the zikr of istighfar. Correct, no? So everybody say Ameen. And this is a good tradition. This is a good tradition. Otherwise, people do not know. Otherwise, people just keep quiet. But at least the muaddin comes out with dua, everybody say Ameen. At least okay. Rather than people do not know any masakin, they do not get the virtue of the time. And this is barakah. Another opinion is before sunset on Friday. Before any sunset. And the people in Hadramaut, they always take the opportunity before sunset. So before sunset, people come to the masjid. You find suddenly on Friday, a lot of new people at the masjid on Friday. So usually down there, they will have a tertib every Friday. So 1 hour before sunset, they will have roha. They will read any books of tasawwuf. And this is a very good tradition. But in Singapore, it is difficult for us to do this because a lot of people are working at this time. But it is a sunnah to come to the masjid, especially at the time of sunset. I need to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before any sunset and pray maghrib at the masjid. ودعاء في يومها وساعة الاستجابة فيما بين جلوس الإمام للخطبة وسلامه. So the author mentioned at the time when the Imam sits down, it is in between the two khutbah, all the way until the salam of Imam. Sa'atul istijabah is any time any between this. Any time any between this. And especially when the khatib make the dua, Allahumma ghfir lil mu'minina mu'minat. Some people masakin they say we cannot say Ameen. There are people what you call it? They thought it is a bid'ah or something. That you say Ameen when the khatib is giving the khutbah. People have a lot of misconceptions nowadays. But in reality, this is a very important time for us to say the Ameen. Because there is a possibility to sa'atul istijabah. Aywa, continue. وَيُكْرَهُ
التخطي ولا يكره لإمام ومن بين يديه فرجة والمعظم إذا ألف موضعا.
يكره تخطي. What is the meaning of تخطي? تخطي meaning you lift your feet so high, higher than the shoulder of a person. Higher than the shoulder of a person. This is تخطي. So when you come late and you want to go to the front, and there are a lot of your people, it is makruh that you raise your leg. You raise your leg on top of the shoulders, level of the shoulders. This is makruh. This is called takhatti. Wala yukrahu li imam, but for the imam not makruh, because the imam has a task. The imam needs to go up to the mimbar, and you are blocking his way. So for him no issue, no problem. Because time is important. He has to be at the mimbar at a specific time. So not makruh for the khatib. وَمَنْ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ فُرْجَةٌ. A person comes here to the masjid and he sees that the first saf empty. Normally that a community do not know about the virtue in the first saf when you come to the masjid and you see the first saf is empty. But you find a lot of people at the saf at the back. It shows that these people do not know the virtue of getting the first saf, especially on the day of Jumu'ah. If they know the virtue, as what the hadith of the Prophet mentioned, if they know the virtue of getting the first saf, especially during Jummah, you know what they will do? They will fight with one another, and they will draw lots. They will draw lots, and who get the spot. So places anywhere they are ulama. In order for you to get the first saf on Friday, you have to come at least 2 hours before, or 3 hours. Otherwise, you can never get in the first. You can never get in the first saf. But if you go to a masjid and you see there are still empty spaces in the first saf, even when you come late, it shows that people do not know any of the virtue. Because if they know any, they will take they will take the spot. So in this case, you can go yani for the first saf. And you can do any takhati. Because why these people are not filling up any of the first saf? They are not fulfilling the sunnahs any of taking the first saf. So they are yani to be blamed. So this person, no problem, yani he can go and take any of the first saf, even with takhati. Then he mentioned wal mu'addam. Mu'addam is a person who is respected in the community. Mu'addam meaning yani this person has been praying in this mosque for 40 years, and everybody in the city knows the place that he will sit down. So for this person, we can give any preference to him. And he is a person who is known for his knowledge, known for his piety. So this is mu'addam. So for mu'addam, we can give the place to him. We give any space to him. All this as an honor, in the form of respect. So he can also do takhati, if he's late. So this is any exceptional cases. Now continue.
ويحرم التشاغل عنها بعد الأذان الثاني ويكره بعد الزوال.
Now the author mentioned it is haram to to work and to do dealings, where the business and transactions and you are working. It is haram when بعد أذان الثاني, after the second adhan. So second adhan, it is not impermissible for a person to engage in work or business dealings. So this is not permissible based on the verse in the Quran. إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. Allah said that you have to leave buying and selling. This goes also when it comes to working and all these things. So a person must be at the masjid doing this time. It is not permissible. وَيُكْرَهُ بَعْدَ الزَّوَالِ. It is makruh if it is after zawal. After zawal meaning this is the time of the first adhan. So usually we have two adhan. The first adhan is ba'da zawal. So it is makruh. But once the khatib is on the mimbar and the muazzin gives out the second adhan, after that now it becomes haram already. A person cannot engage in dealings. Then he mentioned wala tudrakul jumu'atu illa bi raka'atin. And if a person comes late for Jumu'ah and he does not get one full raka'ah, he does not get the Jumu'ah. Meaning if the Imam rises up from the second raka'ah, the ruku second raka'ah, Sami Allahu liman hamida, we say this person has to pray 4 raka'ah. This person has to pray 4 raka'ah. Because he does not get ruku with the Imam on the second raka'ah minimum. Clear inshallah? So a person he must get 1 raka'ah with the Imam in order for him to get the Jumu'ah. So if he get the ruku of the second raka'ah of Jumu'ah, then he gets the Jumu'ah. So he need to pay back only 1 raka'ah after the salam of the Imam. But if a person misses the ruku of the second raka'ah, now his prayer automatically becomes the Zuhr prayers. So when the Imam he gives salam, he has to continue 4 raka'ah, not 2 raka'ah. 4 raka'ah. And it is not compulsory for him to make the intention of Zuhr, because automatic the intention comes in. Clear inshallah? Now continue.
ولا تدرك الجمعة إلا بركعة فإن أدركه بعد ركوع الثانية نواها جمعة وصلاها ظهرا وإذا أحدث الإمام في الجمعة أو في غيرها استخلف مأموما موافقا لصلاته ويراعي المسبوق نظم إمامه ولا يلزمهم تجديد نية القدوة.
So now when the author mentioned, as what I mentioned earlier, فإن أدركه بعد ركوع الثانية, مأموم comes بعد ركوع الثانية, after the ruku of the second raka'ah. Nawaha jumu'atan wa sallaha zuhran. When he wants to make the intention to enter into the prayer, he has to make the intention of Jumu'ah. He say usalli fardhu Jumu'ah, not zuhur. But it is compulsory upon him to pray for after the salam of the Imam. But at the moment of intention, he must intend Jumu'ah, not zuhur. This is what the author mentioned. He said nawaha jumu'atan wa sallaha zuhran. Clear? He makes the intention of Jumu'ah, but he prays zuhur. How is that possible? Because the Imam is praying Jumu'ah. So he said, Usalli fard al-Jumu'ah, makmuman, Allahu Akbar. But when the Imam he gives salam, he pray one, he pray 4 raka'ah. 4 raka'ah is not Jumu'ah, 4 raka'ah is Zuhur. وإذا أحدث الإمام في الجمعة أو غيرها استخلف مأموما موافقا لصلاته. Now when the author speak about istikhlaful imam, in Muqaddimah Hadramiyyah, it is a very short explanation on istikhlaful imam. Yani this is in the case if the imam prayer becomes invalidated. So what happens now? Because you see about Jama'ah is a condition on the validity, as what we mentioned last week. The condition that Jumu'ah is valid is that it must be performed in Jama'ah. So if the prayer of the Imam is invalid, what happens? There is no Jama'ah. We must make sure that the Jama'ah continues. If the prayer of the Imam is invalid, it is wajib that somebody must take the place of the Imam. Wajib, not Sunnah. Imagine if the Imam of Jumu'ah, while he's performing his prayers and he said, Afwan everyone, my prayer now invalidated. So what happens now? Now it becomes compulsory that one of the ma'mum goes to the front and take over the imam. This is called istikhlaful imam. In fiqh we call it istikhlaful imam. The prayer of the imam becomes invalidated. So one of the ma'mum must take the place of that imam. I always mention in my classes that if this happened in Singapore, we do not know what to expect. Imagine the khatib prayer becomes invalidated. What do you think people will do? If nobody take the place of imam, so everybody make the intention mufaraqah. I think that might happen. So people now begin to make the intention of mufaraqah. So they continue the prayer. Is their prayer valid? Their prayer is not valid. Because why? Jama'ah is a condition for Jum'ah. So people might be thinking, oh khalas, I make mufaraqah, imam prayer now invalid. I make any intention mufaraqah. You say your prayer khalas, your prayer becomes batil. Because you are not praying in Jama'ah. So somebody must take the place of the imam. And the person who takes place of the imam must continue from where the imam is. If the imam said qiyam he continues from qiyam. If the imam said ruku he continues from ruku or i'tidal. So he follows the flow of the imam, where the imam is at. Clear inshallah? So this is called an istikhlaful imam. So he said istakhlafa ma'muman muwafiqan li salatihi. So ma'mum must to be with the imam. Then he knows where the imam is and prays in accordance to the imam. Wa yura'il masbuk nadhma salati imamihi. But if a masbuk comes in the masbuk also, continue from where the imam stops. Wala yalzamuhum tajdidu niyatil qudwa. It is not compulsory that the ma'mum make the intention of ma'muman again, because this can be continued. Because the original ma'muman to the first imam suffices. Wallahu alam bis-sawab. Inshallah, we will stop here. Next week, we can just do some revision. I just mentioned a few things quite fast because of the adhan. Inshallah, we will continue in our next lesson. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.